Hello. So today we're going to talk about the evolution of quality assurance in an agency like mine, a web design agency, development agency. When you first start an agency, or if you're freelancing, a lot of that quality assurance falls on you as the developer, or as the team grows, as you add people, maybe some of those people help out a little bit. You don't start an agency. Well, you could. I suppose if you were funded, you were investing up front in your team. Let's say you had the dream team of 10 people, right? And you just went out and hired them all at once. Then maybe you would have a QA person right away. But if you're like me, where you start from scratch, you're self-funded, and you just slowly grow a team over time, there may not be a QA person for quite some time. Maybe. I guess, you know what? This is the way I did it. All right. This is the way I think about it. There may be somebody out there that's like, that's the first person I hire. I don't know. I only know what I know, right? And that's what I'm sharing. So let me give you a little history of my agency. We're in the 5th year here. And essentially, when the first couple of years, I wasn't 100% solo. Like project by project, I would outsource to other contractors to get help, so I could do things in parallel or just get more help. But I would do that. It was pretty spotty the first couple of years. So it was mostly the Matt show. Me. I was doing most of the development, most of the stuff. Now, in that case, I don't have anybody, but my wife maybe to look at a design. She doesn't know anything about development. She could look at my shoulder and say, I don't like that color. But she's not a designer either. So, but it's mostly me, right? And if freelancers especially, I mean, they're their quality assurance department, The only other people involved with the quality assurance are the actual client who's going to look at it and find bugs or find an issue and there's that iteration. And that's just understood. That's just the thing, right? The better you are as a web developer, the fewer of those things that will happen, because you as a developer, there is such a thing as a dev-based quality assurance situation where, you are expected to do your own little unit testing and making sure you're testing all the browsers and all that stuff, right? So you're expected to do that, and you do that, especially in the beginning, because you're not going to go out and hire a dedicated person to do that. Now, quality assurance is very important, and it's something that, as an agency, I think a lot about. So as time has developed, after I got past those first couple of years and I started hiring people for my team, it's still, that quality assurance person wasn't high on my list, right? I'm like, well, that would be nice to have a quality assurance department. Just people that are dedicated to the quality of the things we produce. But it's still not, an agency and hiring evolves kind of organically as you need stuff, as priorities come up. I need another developer because I need them to take care of this new client we have. We have a certain amount of maintenance stuff we're doing, a certain amount of website builds we're doing, design work, whatever. I need a designer. I need this person over here. So really the people I'm hiring are the doers, handling the work. And the other signal here is that maybe not happening early on is everything's fine. We're doing fine. We're doing our own quality assurance. Like on the maintenance side, we would have things in place, and we still do, where if there's updates done to a website, there's always at least a second person that's going to go and review those updates, look at the website, make sure it's okay. And then the client's still doing that, right? The client's still in the loop. They might find something too. and let us know. And so it's a whole team effort, multiple team, everybody on board effort. But that evolves. And then I got a project manager. So that was kind of, for me, that the reason I got the project manager is just work volume, right? I'm managing too many projects. I'm spending most of my day managing projects and teamwork and assigning things and talking to clients and doing all that stuff. I need some help with that, at least on board a few things so I can focus on new relationships or whatever Matt does. So that was great. And now my PM, my project manager, Donna, now she is actually, I slid her into this spot where I used to do the reviewing of like some of the maintenance projects, right? So now she's doing that, which is fine, but she's a project manager, right? So she's got other stuff to do. So you see how that's evolving. In the beginning, it's more developer based. It's myself or my developers are doing their own QA stuff, just ensuring their work is done, looking at the requirements, making sure everything's done. And then everybody involved, myself and my PM, the client. The client's part of it, unfortunately. But the goal is by the time it gets to the client, there's little to no bugs. There's not much they have to worry about, right? Even if you're the developer, you're putting things in place to really ensure that as much as possible. It's impossible for bugs, everything to be bug free all the time. There's always going to be some like edge case that you didn't check. Somebody looks at something in an odd device, or it's cached, and you just say, clear your cache. So that's how that evolves. But now, so in my agency, as the first couple of years I'm working my own, last couple of years, my team's been growing, adding more web developers, and the team has grown. In fact, we're putting up our first team page on our website, hopefully next week. And I counted, and it's like 11 people, including me. What? How did this happen? But it's a collection of people. Like it's designers, project managers, some marketing people, it's me. And we've gotten to this point though, where now on the client side and the agency side, our partnerships and all that, and the type of work we're getting is actually, especially this last year, has gotten more complex. There's larger projects with more requirements and more things to test. And I'm still trying to do a lot of that myself for some of those larger projects, making sure I'm checking things, but trying to pull people in. My project managers, we might team up and maybe look at stuff or whatever. But I'm still relying heavily on the developer to make sure that they're doing their own testing and review of the requirements and stuff like that. We try to keep things organized. We have Trello where we have everything broken out into all the different requirements, by card or whatever, checklists. So all that's there, but all that still has to be tested. And it gets more complex. More complex the projects, especially like I'm talking like back-end stuff, databases, logic, business logic, whatever, all that has to be built into things. All that has to be tested. And especially because we kind of specialize in custom work, so it can get a little wild. So we've reached a point, and I was talking to somebody on my team, somebody that helps me out. We were talking about, it was actually his suggestion that maybe it's time. And I'm like, okay, let's have this conversation. And I wasn't sure who that person was going to be, what that was going to look like, but I just made the decision that, yeah, okay, it's time to add a QA person to our team. And this person now will take the reins on not everything. That doesn't mean that I'm still not going to check stuff. That doesn't mean that my project manager is not going to still check stuff. Maybe if it's a small project or little things or whatever, we'll still be in there looking at stuff and delivering it. So if we deliver it, we have to understand it, demoing it or whatever. So we're still that's not eliminated from our plates completely, but we're going to have a person that is dedicated to that, but also brings to the table that skill set, right? This is what they do. They know how to do unit testing. Unit testing, ask Chat GPT. it's just in code how you can do these automated tests and stuff like that. But to just review things and also put together documentation on the requirements and make sure all the requirements are done and figure out how that's all tested and all that. Somebody with that skill set is now going to be dedicated to that and helping with standards, making sure that we on the coding side that we're keeping up with good standards and implementing things that will help us do that, to help the team do that, be as consistent across all of our code bases, and so all of that can happen. And I think this is going to be a really, I feel like if you're following me for all these years, I feel like we've gotten to this point, like this actually really rounds out our team, right? This is the probably the one key element, one of the things, kind of like last year when I added Donna, my project manager. That was a role I had to create finally. It's like, okay, I need to figure out this role. And the role is defined now, and I know that I could replicate that role. It's going to be same on the QA side. And maybe someday I have a whole team of QA, I've been saying also for years, I'm going to keep it a small team. I don't know what that means. You could say a large team is 5,000 people and, 100's not bad. 100's tiny. But that's, so that's kind of the lesson today that I wanted to communicate, is just talking about quality assurance. Quality assurance is a really critical thing for an agency like us. For a variety of agencies and businesses need to make sure when you're delivering any kind of service, you're delivering any kind of product, that quality is understood. Even when I was back in the days when I was working at a company called Rapid Crush, and we were building WordPress themes for a marketplace, and one of the founders, there's two founders, Will and Jason. Will, I remember having a conversation with him, or he said it probably multiple times over the years I was there. Quality was so important to him. And so everything that I did as the developer, and I was more those days, probably more dev-based. Even in that company, corporation, we didn't have a quality person. I was in this particular unit. I was doing all my own testing and stuff, but that was what it was, but bringing that forward into what we're doing today, we're working on so many critical things and complex systems. And we're talking to, we're doing work for, building stuff for manufacturers, much larger projects, moving databases, building APIs, doing all this stuff. It's, we have to do it. So, but it's not something you need to necessarily, if you're just starting out with an agency, or you have to kind of assess where you are and what your priorities are. It's an investment. Obviously, I have to look at it like, okay, well, can I, is this in the budget? It's because it's not, the thing about it is it's one of those roles. It's even harder on the project management side. Project management side, it was very, very clear that I needed a project manager just based on what I was all doing, right? In my only limited time in my world. But QA person's like, oh, we're doing, no one's complaining, Our clients are happy. That's one of my metrics. Are the clients happy? They're super happy. They love us, right? But I want to continue that. I want to make sure. So there are so many different reasons behind that. Like I said, the time element and feeling like things are, and my team even, mentioning it. I have to take all those things in consideration. And is this, and I made the decision finally that this is a good investment. And I think it's a good investment. I think it's also going to do things in terms of the perception. Our clients are going to appreciate the fact that we care about quality and maybe even attract some new clients just because we have a QA team. Who knows? All right. That's all I got today. I hope you found this interesting. Think about quality. Quality is important. Until next time.